I'm with the Telford College apprenticeship team now, and in a few minutes we're going to be meeting some of the apprentices, the employers, the parents, and finding out some more about the frequently asked questions which is connected with this particular part of Telford College. Before we do that though, let's meet everybody we've got around our latest COVID bubble of a panel, starting over that side.
Becky Bosworth, Employer Engagement Manager. I'm Katie McEwen, I'm one of the recruitment officers.
I'm Chris Field, I'm a Business Development Executive.
And I'm Laura Rogers, I'm the recruitment officer.
So far so good. Right, well let's start over here, Becky. Just set the scene for us. Tell us about what is an apprenticeship for people that don't know, and how does the link between the college and the workplace actually work?
Okay, so first of all, an apprenticeship is a correlation. Apprenticeship is actually a real job in the workplace with a real employer, and the apprentice is there 80% of the time doing the job, working with a team of people, and 20% of the time is actually at college on a day release, coming in and learning all that theory to take back into the workplace. Sometimes they don't necessarily come into college, they will actually be doing a lot of remote learning as it is at the moment on Microsoft Teams, for example. But every step of the way they're supported by our workplace assessors, our expert assessors, but also their mentor in the workplace to give them that professional guidance that's needed.
And Laura, I'm interested in what kind of qualifications can people get? How wide a range is it? How does it all physically work? Does it make you walk out with a certificate at the end, or does it depend on different sectors?
Yeah, so we work in different sectors. So we do like a hands-on sector that will be like engineering, automotive. We do office-based roles, so that's more customer service, HR, and then we do like a health and childcare sector. So each qualification will be slightly different. Engineering might last 4 years, business admin's 18 months. As Becky says, you get a one-to-one assessor, you get support. Some of the courses you do day release, or you have remote learning, so you are doing that qualification on the side and learning amongst it. By the time you finish your qualification, you obviously come out with it as a qualified level 3 engineer, and then you've got that 4 years work experience with you as well, which is really valid for anybody now to have the qualification and the work to back it up, as opposed to university.
And I guess one of the most commonly asked questions that you'll get at an open event like this is actually what I should do, what should I do? Is an apprenticeship the thing for me? What do you say to people like that? You want to pick that one up?
I suppose it's what should that person do next, really, isn't it? And I suppose when that person knows about what they're passionate about, or what they're interested in, whether that is education or whether that's their hobbies, it's really then getting in touch with us to sort of get that, that further step of advice, really. Again, the more research that person can do in regards to local companies, the qualifications that Telford College do offer, the more we can discuss with them really at that point. And then obviously we'll give the right advice from there. We'll work with companies to start putting CVs in place, and we really sort of push them forwards into what they want to do and give the right advice from there.
So we'll hear from some of the students shortly. If after that people decide, yeah, apprenticeship is what I want to do, what do they do next? What step do they need to take?
So they would contact us at the recruitment team. We'd go through with them step by step what we'd expect from them. One of the main things we're looking for to get them started is to make sure they've got that English and Maths GCSE at those grades of 4s, which is equivalent to C grades. They need that really to get them started. That's a really good benchmark to get them where we need them to be. Then after that, we would then make sure they've got a good CV, any work experience that they may have. They may have worked with family, or they may have had a Saturday job, or like a paper round. All these are great experiences that we look for when we're interviewing them to get them through the process. They need to know what qualification they want to go for, so that we can help them and support them through that, and then we'll get them ready for our talent pool to spec them into different companies.
Is it possible to say what makes a perfect apprentice? Is it? I guess that's not so easy to do because the range of sectors that you cover is so wide, isn't it?
I think Chris, you can probably answer this, can't you, with your little thing with regards to
it's all about attitude. The employers, it's the same thing, the same message that they come to us with. Skills and experience are going to be quite low as a level as an apprentice, which is what's expected. But that attitude and that commitment, that reliability, that is the most important factor, because employers can teach people skills and they can experience things. But that attitude, that commitment, getting to work on time, it's going to be challenging for young people. That culture shock of going into a full-time role, that's a really key thing to prepare for as well. Asking parents, asking friends, about their experiences. The more preparation that person can do, the better. But in terms of the perfect candidate, if you can demonstrate that attitude and that commitment, you're well there, and we can advise and support from there.
And keeping in touch with the local employers out and around the area is so important. So I know Telford College has hundreds of companies you're involved with, talking to them about what they want all the time, aren't you?
Yeah, I mean, this year has been so successful for us, even in the COVID situation. We've actually, this just August and September, we're actually engaging with 80 new employers, which has been fantastic in the current climate. A lot of that has been down to us keeping in touch with those, but also encouraging the young people. A lot now of our placements that we've actually got for our apprenticeships, they've found their own, haven't we? Because we've given them hints and tips of what to do. They need to keep in touch with these employers. We can direct them to those employers, exactly like we do with our full-time students, where we encourage them to get their own work experience, encourage them to get their own apprenticeship, because they're going in there, they're meeting that employer, they're getting that face value straight away. I think when we look at the perfect apprentice, I mean, it's very difficult to say that's, what is it, but I think it's that myth of with the parents certainly is ensuring that the parents know now that, apprenticeships go from level 2 right through to level 7. So, you can do a degree apprenticeship. You might start off with level 2, but you can go right through to level 7. It's not necessarily the formulation, which I think that, it has been known in the past, maybe.
I think sometimes people don't realise just how broad a range, as you say, of apprenticeships that there are, not just within each sector, but the different levels of apprenticeship. I mean, you don't have to start with those. You can have had a lengthy career and decide what to do an apprenticeship. But anyway, how does that work? If I'm coming in and saying, right, I want to completely retrain in a different area.
Yeah, definitely get a CV over.
Yeah,
that's what's great about them though. Like Chris said, they're not expecting you to come in with loads of experience. We wouldn't expect you to come in and go, yeah, I've worked in HR for 4 years. It's about having that attitude and that drive, and why your reasoning behind that is, have you got reasons? Have you done your research? Do you like people? Do you like tinkering things? Do you like being outdoors? Do you like being hands-on? Or are you quite organised? Would you suit that office environment, kind of picking out their skills and traits and seeing what direction they'd like to go in, and then us just, like you said, support. And then if it is something like accountancy, then they go in at a level 2, and you can go all the way through to the level 7 and be fully qualified through that route.
Yeah, and we've had lots of people this year being made redundant due to COVID. They might be sort of mid to late 20s, and they've looked at apprenticeships to sort of as that option to retrain, which is great. There's lots of incentives from the government at the moment, and potentially continuing to encourage employers. And then, as you said, the other side of things is we've had lots of management qualifications, or people looking at the management qualifications this year. Again, whether it's to sort of really get the most out of their business, the most out of their teams, and to really sort of make sure they're strong, in the financial climate and how the economics are working. There's all sorts of different aspects for all sorts of different people, and that's the beauty about the qualifications and how they work.
And of course, from the candidate's point of view, you're learning at the same time, and from the employer's point of view, it's an opportunity for them to shape the employee the way that they want them to be for their own business, isn't it? And that, I guess, is one of the big things.
Yeah, it's great. It gives anybody a great opportunity and a foot in the door to change career or retrain. It's really good.
I think from their succession planning as well, so we have had employers contacting us, most recently that, a couple of their older workforce had a change of heart and looking to retire earlier, so they're thinking now straight away, let's get apprentices into the business earlier than planned, because we need to succession plan for our future of our business to ensure that we encourage that and keep that momentum going, particularly with engineering this year and electrical installation. And we've had a lot more new employees because they've lost staff because they've had that rethink in a lockdown situation.
Brilliant. Well, I reckon that's probably enough of us talking. It's time to see and hear from some of the people themselves, hasn't it? Thank you very much, guys. Let's have a look now and meet some of the companies, the apprentices, and hear from some of the parents as well to find out how it all works in practice.
We're here today at Shrewsbury and Telford Hospital to meet some apprentices that are currently working there and have now been taken on to full-time employment. The NHS is one of our companies that we do work quite closely with. We've been working with them for over 15 years, and at the moment we've got 60 live apprentices with them. They tend to take between 40 and 60 apprentices on a year, so we're going to go and meet some of them today.
So we're just going to have a bit of a chat with them, see about the roles and what they're doing now and the progression. So I'm going to start with Megan, because I know you had quite a different background before you came into this. If you just want to talk me through what you were doing before and how you've got into this role.
Yeah, so I was previously doing makeup for 7 years. I was working back in Manchester, so that's where I'm originally from. and I was working in different retail stores, but I wanted to have like more of an actual career so I can just progress into it. So I decided in lockdown to have a career change and do more admin side, because I do want to potentially go up to being like a PA for a legal secretary. So that's something that I really want to do. And I think with an apprentice, like it's like going to uni, but you're getting paid for it. So it's just like amazing. Like it's really, really good. Because you learn on the job, and it's amazing. You're meeting new people. Even working for the NHS is absolutely incredible, especially with the current situation. So it's really good to kind of like be there to be able to like help and witness like patients as well. So it's good.
And how did you find the change in coming into the role? Was it like a massive change for you?
Because it's more office based, yeah, it's a lot different to what I'm used to, because I'm more hands on doing people's makeup. But I've always done admin side, but I've never done it like as a full time role. So it's a big change, but it's something that I've already previously done, but doing it full time. It's good because you get your weekends off.
I was sixth form studying psychology, applied science and English combined, but I kind of knew I wanted to do an apprenticeship after I left. So before I actually did my A-levels, I was kind of looking for something, and there was a couple that come up, and the one for cardiology I actually applied for, and I had the interview, which obviously I was successful with, and then uni just wasn't for me. Again, like Rachel said, I didn't want to be away from home. I kind of wanted your 8 to 4 job throughout the week, having weekends off, so it was ideal. So luckily I was successful.
So how long did you do in that role?
I was a year.
Yeah, and got your level 2?
Got my level 2.
And now you've got a permanent position?
Yeah, interviewed for the support secretary role, and now I've got the permanent position there. I'm doing my level 3.
So is that promotion for you?
Yeah, I would say so, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, because it's a different job as such. It's more of a medical secretary type job, so you're working for a certain consultant and doing their work, rather than just assisting, the other staff in the office, which I was doing as an apprentice.
Yeah. I got more legal. And what did your parents think of you doing like an apprenticeship? Were they like supportive, or were they uni route? Or?
Yeah, no, they were supportive. They understood why I didn't want to go to uni, and you say, it's you're learning on the job, aren't you? You're also getting paid for it, so it's ideal.
Yeah, real. And then we've got Fern with us today as well. So do you want to tell us a little bit about your background and what you do and how you're kind of involved with the apprentices?
Okay, so I work at the Shrewsbury Telford Hospital on both sites. I'm supervisor of medical secretaries. So basically all of the apprentices we bring into the medical secretary teams. They help support them whilst they're here for their 12, 13 months as it is now. We think it's a good way of introducing new staff into the NHS, and it's a good way for them to progress and learn about the actual hospital and what they do in the different departments, and basically then hopefully we can offer them a position at the end of it, or there's certainly jobs throughout the hospital that staff can apply for. So it is a good way of getting into the door, as they say.
Okay. And you're doing your level 3 and business admin. You've done your level 3, haven't you?
Yes,
doing
I did quite a long time ago.
Well.
And then when I moved into the management role, then I went on to do different management qualifications with TCAT as well. So
you constantly get training here, don't you?
Yes,
they
you
kind
do.
of progressing.
Yeah, they do help with progression and development.
Yeah.
It's certainly a good way of being able to support you.
Hi, so Jill is one of our apprenticeship parents, so we just wanted to get you in today, Jill, just to talk to you about like kind of your perspective on apprenticeships and Rachel's journey with it. So if you just want to tell us a little bit about kind of Rachel and what she's at and what she's doing apprenticeship-wise at the moment, that'd be great.
Rachel's been in an apprenticeship for a couple of years now. She's just completed level 3 and gone straight on and completed level 4. And she first got involved in apprenticeships when she was 16, which is sort of 15 years ago. So she did her level 2 leaving school, and then she left and have a family and get married and bring up children and come back to it.
Okay, so she's come back to kind of upskill.
Yes, yeah.
And how did you kind of feel about that decision? Were you quite supportive, or what did you think about the apprenticeship route at the time for her?
I think it was ideal for Rachel because she did have a family and had children and had life experience. I think it was an ideal way for her to learn and earn, really. And it's worked out well for her, so I wasn't really any doubt about it, really. it was the right thing for her.
And how did she go about applying? Did she apply on the National Apprenticeship website or did she go through the
She didn't. She applied directly actually through a recruitment and selection process for a post that was advertised at Telford College. And started off at the Retraining Centre, which is for students with special education needs.
So she's made quite a bit of progression, hasn't she?
She has, yeah, and I think that's the beauty of apprenticeship for me. I suppose I've always been very much into sort of professional development, so it's an idea as I said, to sort of develop in the role and get really good experience and a variety of experience that you perhaps wouldn't get through perhaps a normal job, if you like, without that learning process.
And do you think that was a good route for Rachel to have taken? Like, were you quite supportive of her as well to kind of make this journey and do this?
Oh yeah, definitely encourage her to do that and to push to do the next level as well. And she was keen to do it anyway. She wanted to go. In fact, she wanted to go for one to the next, and she did do that. She did the level 3 and the level 4, and she got some promotion through that as well. So it was like, just steady, take your time. But no, I'm going to do the next thing. And that's been great for her. It's been a confidence boost. So as a mum as well, I'm so proud.
Of course. And so with the progression, what was it like for her? How's the company been with her like to work? Do you think they've supported her and backed her up in general? Because I know a lot of parents are kind of worried how the company's going to treat them and if they're going to feel like a valid member of staff.
I think from my perspective, and I think from Rachel, it's been very supportive really. She's been allowed to develop and get involved in things so she can get wider experience and learn on the job and also actually complete the qualification. So she's had the time and the support to be able to do that, really.
And what would you say to any parents who have maybe got like younger year 11 children who are not sure about apprenticeships or a bit on the edge? What kind of advice would you give to them?
I would say absolutely consider it as a serious option. And I think I'm from a university family, you know, A-levels, university, never questioned it. And I knew that wasn't right for Rachel or my other child actually, particularly. So I would absolutely say have no qualms about it, because you can get on in life and you can do really well, just as well as anybody else. So I think it's a brilliant way to get on the career ladder.
Did you have any questions or queries like as a parent when Rachel was going through the process and thinking about it that again might have been helpful to have some information on that?
No, really, because Rachel's always quite independent, and I think you know, knew her own mind. I don't think what questions are I have come across other people who perhaps in other companies, children in other companies, or perhaps it's been, apprenticeship hasn't really been one of the team within the workplace, and that's not been the case with Rachel at all. She's been very much part of the team. So maybe there was a little bit of concern around that, because it's like, well, you can do these jobs, these tasks, and then you move on. But for Rachel, it's been a sort of career move really to do that apprenticeship. You know, so I think that perhaps was a concern that you sort of then overlooked, if you like, and then sort of at the end of your apprenticeship, you have the job and you've got to start again. And that hasn't been the case.
And is there any kind of support you could recommend parents to give to their children looking or searching? Any kind of tips you'd give to parents to help encourage or help them secure something?
Yeah, I think if Rachel had perhaps been less independent and a bit younger, I would have supported more. And I'm certainly going back actually to when Rachel did level 2 when she left school. There was a bit of a hand-holding me. Because I think it's a lot of that age for young people to take on. I'm not sure necessarily what they want to do long term. And I would say it's okay not to know, I think, at that age what you want to do long term. Get out there, get some experience, get some qualifications, and find your way. And I think with an apprenticeship you can do that.
Okay, so do you want to just tell me a little bit about yourself and your role here, and then obviously a little bit about the company first?
Yeah, certainly. So I2R, which is, as we're known as, stands for Innovation to Reality. So that's about the development. We do food packaging, so it's about food packaging solutions. So I2R is all about being innovative and design of new trays. So obviously we've got awards for a lot of the new trays and new designs we're doing, because if you're not investing into the future, you're not going forwards. So it's a big sort of ethos for the company to be about looking for the next thing and being ahead of everyone else, and to continue to grow and develop, which is something they've certainly done over the years I've been here. I've been here for 8 years now. And obviously we've got the guys, the apprentices now. I started off as an apprentice myself years ago in the automotive industry, so I'm still working on to tooling. So I'm a technical tooling engineer, so everything that goes into the presses is I'm controlling that now. And now I'm in charge of bringing new apprentices into the company and training them myself. So I've gone full circle now. I started at the bottom, and now I'm bringing in apprentices and training them, which is exciting for me as well as for them, I hope.
Real. So how many apprentices do you have here at the moment?
We have two guys that have just finished their apprenticeships. Well, I say just finished. They've been clear for about a year. One of them's 2 years ago, and they're still training, still learning, because that's the good thing about engineering, is it never really stops. I'm still learning to this day. There's still lots of things I'm still not had put in front of me before I'm learning now. And then obviously we've got Abigail and Callum, which have just come in recently now in this enrolment. So our newest one's coming through. So obviously we had 4 apprenticeships. 2 of them have completed, so we only have 2 now.
Okay. So what value do the apprentices add to the company? What do they kind of bring?
Obviously, as we grow and develop, the company's expanding very fast, so things change quite a lot in the production environment and the workshop that we work in. So it's actually very good for us to have people who are fresh and new, because they're changing with the mould of the factory that's ever changing, rather than because obviously we do have some experienced engineers we've enrolled from experienced, but they have to get used to how things have changed, how things are different, and the growth and how you work in the place. So I find with the apprenticeships, they're really good, because they grow and develop with you and with the company and the growth. And one that's growing this fast, it's exactly what you need, is to keep making sure you've got the next tier of people coming through as the ones go. And naturally, over years, you do lose some people sometimes, and people come in. So it's about keeping the next lot of people training, especially as it can take you 4 to 5 years to get through them. You need to make sure you've got your next lot of younger people training and coming through.
Brilliant. So what's the future and progression like for Callum and Abby, sorry?
So at the moment, they'll be learning to strip down, service and rebuild the tools. The presses, learning to use the presses takes a bit more time, and it's a bit more complicated. But again, through the years, they'll learn that through in-house training, which they'll receive a lot of. We're already sending them on many courses now. Again, which we're seeing the benefits of. You know, as they progress, we get more from them and we get more output, so that's a really good thing. Basically, they'll be at a point where they can take a tool or anything that's broken in the press, they'll be able to remove it from the press, take it out, fix it, diagnose the problems with it, rebuild it back up, put it into the press again themselves, and get the production going again. So obviously the more people we have in the factory who can do that, the less stoppages we'll have, the more money and more efficiency we'll have.
Yeah.
Outside of that, they will be involved in tool suppliers. So again, eventually, as they get higher up on it, the 2 guys that apprentices we've had who've finished their apprenticeships, I'll take them on the road with me sometimes. So if I'm going to some of our suppliers, so some of the people who build the tools for us, we have 2 companies in Italy we use. We'll have one in Cardiff we use in Wales. One up the road in Bridgnorth. I'll take them with me, and they'll get involved in the technical aspects of how the tools are built and get a better understanding of the tools that they're working on to fix and repair.
Okay, cool. So what would you look for if we had a new cohort of apprentices next year? What do you kind of look for in candidates? What did you like about Callum and Abby that kind of shone out to you, and why you think they'd be good in this career in this company?
They had great confidence, and a lot of that's because of because the qualifications, the background they got behind them, and that's what allured us to them. They had very good CVs. More than that, those that people are enthusiastic about what they're doing. and they've definitely had a lot of enthusiasm about the job and wanting to learn and wanting to be in engineering. As long as you have that want, anybody can teach you anything. There's nothing you can't do, and that is the good thing about the apprenticeship scheme, is that you literally can turn your hand to any job as long as you get the training through. There's no reason you can't do it if you're enthusiastic.
And obviously it's great because you're from an apprenticeship background as well. Would you recommend that to people going forwards, and it's nice for you having kind of the understanding?
Yeah, certainly. I started out as an apprentice myself, as you said, and one of the things that I find fantastic about the apprenticeship is because it's work-based training. You work with a lot of people from different diversities, different skill levels, and it's good because you can take all the good from all the people you learn with and maybe leave some of the less desirable habits, but it's good because it helps you be a bit more of a rounded person as well as the learning that you get from all the different people you work with.
Yeah. And then would you recommend to other companies who'd never had an apprentice before to kind of take one on? Do you kind of support and back them? What would you kind of say if companies were on the fence about taking someone on or considering one?
That 100% go for it. I've worked in lots of different companies, lots of different industry, and one of the things that I know is key to survival in a business is to be bringing new people in and new training, and a lot of that is because new eyes makes changes, and it makes sure that, again, that you're going forwards all the time. I think it's definitely important to train and develop people, and if training and development stops, then you're not learning as a company. So the most important thing for a business is to keep that training and development going. The apprenticeship scheme, the advantages of it is they do a job. So while they're learning, and as their learning grows, they're used to the business or the company you're working for will grow. And obviously this will it helps because you get more from them as they're developing and training through.
Brilliant. All right, thank you ever so much. It's really helpful, and thanks for letting us have a little tour and everything. Hopefully we'll stay in touch with you to see how they're progressing and getting on. So thank you ever so much for your time.
No, you're welcome.
There you go then, that's some of the employers, the parents and the apprentices themselves. So if that's whetted your appetite and you want to know more about how you get involved, how you register for an apprentice, Laura's got all the information you need.
Yeah, so hopefully this has been really useful for you today and you've seen a couple of different perspectives. If you are thinking an apprenticeship is for you, get working on those grades, make sure you're achieving those C's, get your CV sorted, get your work experience, get that attitude and that passion, and channel it to us and show us why you're ready for an apprenticeship. Please do contact any of our lovely team if you'd like any more information. Give us a call, give us an email, we'd be happy to help, happy to support, and hopefully we'll see you next year.